Hi, Enrique. It's such a pleasure to have you here and to be speaking with you. I and the whole team at MeBot, the AI intelligent workplace assistants, are huge fans of you. We love your thought leadership and just also your community and hacking HR and really bringing together, really, I think for the first time, innovative HR leaders who truly want to rethink and reframe the future of work to create a better society. So, super excited to learn a little bit more about you and the work that you are doing. Thanks for spending time with us today.
Well, thank you for having me. I am excited about the conversation and being on the other side of the interview. It's always me asking people for for their insights and asking them questions. So it's good to be on this side too.
That's great. I know I have a high bar to set. You ask excellent questions. So, we'll
Oh,
see how
thank
we
you.
do here. So, tell us a little bit more about yourself, Enrique.
Well, I am the founder of Hacking HR. I have spent the last 10 years plus of my career working in HR as a consultant, corporate, and now as a community leader with this Hacking HR community. Before that, I spent a number of years working in telecommunications. I am an electronic engineer that was my sort of my first academic degree. And so I bring the mindset of an engineer to the world of HR, which I think it's to me has been very useful and very valuable. And so that's a little bit about me. I'm an engineer working in HR, building this community, bringing HR people together from all over the world to advance HR and make it the best that it can be.
I heard that one of the ways that you are working to bring people together in this community to be able to learn and to network and to do all these things is your upcoming Forward conference. Can you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that?
It's going to be our fourth global conference. It's going to be in 2023. We did the first one in 19, then 2020. I'm sorry, the first one in 2020, 2021, 2022 this year. And now 2023 is going to be the fourth one. We changed the name from Hacking HR, Global Online Conference, HR Innovation and Future of Work, which is a very long thing. Lot of wasted ink in those characters in there. We changed the name to just Forward, and in this case, Forward 2023. And just because I believe in the power of HR to be and become the trailblazer that is leading people and organizations into the new reality of work. So I believe in the power of HR to bring everybody together forward into the future. So this idea of the theme of this year's conference was the path forward. And what I was trying to do was help HR imagine the new world of work and get it done, make it happen. So I'm very inspired by the word forward. And that's why I wanted to change the name to the conference and call it Forward. We bring thousands of people to the conference from all over the world. We bring hundreds of speakers. We have dozens of topics to talk about. And it's just exciting to bring all this together and put it in front of the HR community, give them the opportunity to learn from practitioners, from leaders who may be a little bit further down the road and who can reflect back and share
Mm.
their experiences, their insights, the areas where they have failed, where they have succeeded with the community at large. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah,
That's our
that's
event next year, March 6th through the 9th. It's a free complimentary event. Everybody can sign up. So we don't have any barriers. It's all online, virtual. So anybody who is listening to this conversation, please sign up and join us in the conversation.
that's really exciting. I noticed that the topics are very forward thinking,
Yeah,
topics
yeah,
that you may not find in other conferences or in other HR focused areas. And, I noticed some of those themes around like data analytics and digital transformation. I
yeah.
think digital transformation is hard for some people to really wrap their mind around.
Mm.
Can you speak to why you see that as an important forward focus for the HR community?
Yeah. Well, digital transformation is intrinsically a people-centered process. Yes, it is meant to build more effective and efficient processes by leveraging on technology, but ultimately the end goal is to better serve the people as external or internal customers. So if digital transformation truly is a people-centered transformation or a people-centered process, HR has to be involved. And what's interesting, and I have spoken with a lot of people about this in the past few years with Hacking HR, people who don't work in HR, but who participate in conversations about internal digital transformation, they very often tell me, Enrique, you have no idea how many conversations we have about digital transformation, about how they impact or the digital transformation process impacts the people in this organization, and how HR is not part of those conversations. And that's heartbreaking, to be honest, right?
Yeah.
So in my mind, if digital transformation is intrinsically a people process, HR has to be there. But the only way for HR to be part of those conversations is if HR is bringing value to that conversation. And to bring value to that conversation, you got to have the skills, the idea of what digital transformation is, the capabilities embedded in your function. You have to be able to connect HR with business, with digital transformation. And that's what we do in the conference. We try to connect all those dots to equip HR with the tools they need to be part of those conversations, not just as an idle sort of a person sitting in a table just listening to what everybody else is saying, but as an active participant of the digital transformation conversation. And that's why we in all the events that I have put together, always technology is one of the main topics, and digital transformation is one of them. My hope with embedding this topic in the conference is for HR to learn and to be part of that conversation, not just because somebody's inviting them to be there, but because they are adding so much value in the direction of digital transformation that nobody can ignore them, and they will want them to be sort of in that table, so to speak. So that's why we embed the conversation of digital transformation in the conference, innovation, agility, technology, future of work, because all of these topics expand the traditional portfolio of HR knowledge, skills, and capabilities, and it helps them get into worlds where they should be involved, but they haven't been involved because they don't know much about them, right? So that's what I'm aiming to do with having these conversations in the conference. And if you look around the topics, there are areas that I know are important for HR, but we don't talk about. For example, compliance, regulation, stuff like that. I know that that's part of the work that we do in HR, but there are so many people talking about them right now, and I don't think, this is my personal and very stubborn belief, I don't think that the edge of HR is in those topics. I think the edge of HR is in being part of a conversation where they say, oh, we're going to talk about innovation and we're going to talk about digital transformation. This is how people and the people strategy is part of this. And that's where I think the edge of HR is. And those are the topics that we cover in most of our events and the Forward conference next year.
Yeah, I love that. So what I'm hearing you say is your hope of being able to upskill, reskill your HR community to be able to speak to digital transformation, be able to understand it, to be able to go to that seat at the table with the other people within their organizations, that they then are adding in that human-centered design.
Yes.
They're helping make sure that we keep the employee in mind.
That's absolutely the goal of what I'm trying to achieve. And very often, and actually all the time, not very often, all of the time, the question of how this impacts people or how people are involved in this digital transformation process, that question is there because, again, digital transformation is intrinsically a people-centered process. But if HR is not there, whoever is part of that conversation is missing a great opportunity to hear from something that can add a lot of value. But HR has to be prepared to be part of that conversation and add that value. And that's what I'm doing with Hacking HR in the conference and with these topics, equipping HR with the tools they need to truly add value to that conversation.
I love that, Enrique, because a part of this all is around change management and how that impacts our employees. And when companies roll out this type of change, how are we thinking about how we even launch it in order to get adoption? And having an HR person there may be able to help have these transformations be more successful. That's amazing. Why do you think now is the time for all of this to happen?
because everything has to do with people. And I think there's a new, I don't even know if we had it before, the industrial revolutions and the rise of capitalism, in the past 250 years. But I think now something tells me that there's not a lot of companies, but there's a significant amount of companies that are very well known, that are pushing for a different way of doing business, right? A way of doing business where we care for the environment, we care for the planet, we care for the people, we don't leave anybody behind. And that's a very different way of thinking compared to just the organization and the business as a company, as a money-making machine, and the people and the planet as commodities in that process.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that there's renewed sense of responsibility toward the planet, the environment, the people, and that gives us a great opportunity to create different and to redefine work. You look at what's going on right now with companies forcing people to go back to an office, and I'm thinking, what a great opportunity for HR to step up and say, this is not the right way of doing things. I mean, you are, all these people who died of COVID, all these people who got sick of COVID, all these businesses that shut down during COVID, all of that will have been in vain if we go back to the ways we were doing things before. So this is a great opportunity for HR to say, we can do things differently and still be productive, effective, make money, and sort of be better than our competitors. And this is how we can do it. And I think that opportunity is unique to this moment because of all that's been going on, the state of the politics, the state of society, the state of our economy. And I think now is the opportunity, to transform work. I'm afraid that we're missing, the train. The train is like moving pretty fast in front of us, and I'm afraid that we're not jumping on it, and we're gonna miss a great opportunity to transform work. And I'm fearful that so many companies are going back to the old ways, and HR is not really, stepping up. And I'm hoping they do. Yeah.
Those are some really aspirational outcomes. And I hope that people attend this conference so that those things can happen.
I should hope so, and that they get involved at the end of the day, and
Yeah.
I don't know when you're going to be releasing this conversation, but I was reading yesterday this opinion post by Malcolm Gladwell about, working from home is like, it's like working, what are you doing to yourself? It's not productive. You're not building belonging, all this bullshit, right? I'm sorry, I just use that word, but this is a great opportunity for HR to say, I'm going to question, the people that I have believed in the past. Malcolm Gladwell is wrong. And anybody who thinks that forcing people back to the office is a better way to be more productive or efficient, they are wrong. And we have the data to prove them wrong. But it's a great opportunity for HR to come forward and say, you're wrong because of this and this and that. And here's the data to prove it, right? So we got to question, authority. We got to question traditional models of operating, right? And HR should be one of those groups of people that are questioning the way we are working and trying to find new ways of doing things.
Very well said. I couldn't agree more. I'm definitely an advocate for rethinking HR and for helping work with leaders to help rethink.
Yeah.
It can be scary to rethink. And I think we need to be able to help leaders through the process, but also through that change and to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You have to get uncomfortable to make those conversations happen.
Yeah.
What is your hope then for the future of hacking HR?
For the future of hacking HR, I'm hoping that we continue to be a community where people find the opportunities for learning, for collaboration, for networking, for community at the end of the day. I am hoping that we are inspiring a generation of HR leaders across ages, across companies and industries and countries. I'm hoping that we are inspiring them to think differently and to know that not only do they have a great opportunity in their hands, an extraordinary opportunity, but they also have a great responsibility to do things differently and to challenge the status quo and to tell their leaders, we can do better than this. We can create a company that is much better than the company that we've had, that we created as of now. We have an incredible opportunity to do better, and that's a responsibility. You know, if HR people know that giving, for example, this is one example, right? That giving employees the autonomy to decide whether they want to work from home or work from the office, and they know that people are being productive by having that determination in their hands, and they are not saying anything, they are, pretty much violating their own oath to the responsibility that we have in HR. So they gotta bring that forward. So I'm hoping that with Hacking HR, we are inspiring people to take that responsibility, to assume that responsibility, but that we're also equipping them to learn that how to do things differently and how to communicate that to their leaders so that we can finally create new ways of working.